Here's the Chevrolet Cruze Eco. It's a comfortable, sensible compact with above-average attention to ride quality, must-have tech for today's connected driver, and the all-important issue of fuel efficiency, demanded in ever-increasing amounts by today's shopper. It's not cool to burn through your tank like an orbit-bound rocket thruster, after all, which is why this Cruze from a few years back impressed me so much. With special gear ratios, special tires, weight-saving engineering, and aerodynamic upgrades to make it more slippery than a greased-up crazy carpet, it achieved the best fuel mileage I've ever recorded in a conventionally powered vehicle, ever, and it's not even a hybrid or diesel. This one is. You're looking at the Cruze diesel, which came online in the recent past by calling a proven diesel engine from GM's global operations into action here in Canada, offering yet another fuel-saving alternative in the small car marketplace. Shoppers want options on saving fuel with their small car dollar, and this is one of them. Here's how. A 2-liter dual-cam 4-cylinder turbo diesel unit good for 151 horsepower and a very generous 264 pound-feet of torque. That's some 30 more than you'll get in a Jetta TDI. That much torque once required the use of a V8 engine, but with the latest in diesel technology, here you get it from 4 little cylinders and an engine that turns in silly good fuel mileage. How is it? Well, fantastic, really. Signature diesel sounds are detectable when you start the engine or if you're standing outside the car, so it's unmistakable. But from the driver's seat, well, it's whisper quiet, very, very smooth, refined, and I've driven any number of gasoline-powered cars in this segment with noisier engines, none of which had this much power either. Here, right to the boards, all kinds of acceleration, and the noise levels are kept really nicely in check. All of that torque right at low revs means that this machine is surprisingly quick, all while getting better mileage and offering better refinement than some of the gas-powered engines out there too. Sounds pretty win-win to me. You almost wonder why you don't see diesel-powered cars like this one everywhere. And remember, if you haven't driven a diesel in a few decades, this is a whole different ballpark. Diesel engines today are no longer soot-barfing monsters, noisy or smelly either. Take a test drive and you'll be impressed. All diesel-powered Cruzes come front-wheel drive with a 6-speed automatic that holds off on shifting down, instead using the low-end torque for acceleration. And whether you're driving gently or with a lead foot, smooth, rich thrust is everywhere. And though the diesel engine is primarily seen as a fuel saver, with all that torque, it's also a performance enhancement. This thing scoots. And that's really all there is to it. Beyond the new high-performance, low-consumption diesel engine, there's not much different going on here, and much-loved Cruze attributes remain untouched. It's got the easy-to-drive thing nailed down, simple entry and exit from the comfy heated leather seats, good sight lines out of the car, one-finger steering, and a fairly tight turning circle for maneuvering in parking lots. Rear seat space and storage facilities aren't as generous as you'll find in some of the more recently engineered competition, but they're adequate nonetheless. Around town on rougher roads, the suspension is a touch on the firm side, though most will appreciate how it keeps its composure and doesn't become excessively noisy or feel like it's being beaten around. Even on the lousiest roads I could find, with 3 passengers on board, the Cruze's suspension kept feeling like it was neutralizing and absorbing bumps and heaves rather than crashing into them, and all the ride quality is above average in this segment. The cabin, not quite so much. Parts of it are getting a bit old, and I'm not sure about the use of this tweed-like fabric that trimmed the dash and doors, in the same way I'd be a little uneasy about wearing a plastic suit. The Cruze is due for a refresh and it shows up in the cabin, but it is logically laid out, there's storage all around for smaller items, and the look is clean, tidy, and fairly simple. Extra points for the high-tech central command interface. Once you learn its ins and outs, it's slick, intuitive, and powerful. Vivid display graphics look great, and because of the high-resolution screen, you get DVD-quality imaging from the backup camera for added confidence too. All said, here's a good all-around package on a compact that's adequately roomy, gets great fuel mileage, and goes like the wind thanks to a potent and smooth diesel engine. Plus, during my week of driving with fuel prices looking like this, it was nice to have some spare cash in my wallet. Incidentally, now's a good time to get into a Cruze diesel like this one and keep some spare cash in your wallet too. Alright, so one final note. Today, filming this video segment, we are mid-September of 2015, which means that in any likelihood, by the time you're watching this, the all-new 2016 Chevy Cruze will be well on its way to dealerships to replace this 2015 model. So if you're looking to save some money on a compact car, look for heavy rebates and pricing incentives as dealers make room for the new one. Mileage on my watch, impressive, even beating the figures I achieved in the less powerful Volkswagen TDI, Jetta, and Passat models, as well as that impressive Cruze Eco, with an overall figure of 5.6 liters per 100 clicks for where and how I drive, and despite my heavy foot. Translation, this thing has heaps of power, drinks fuel slowly, and you could spend more feeding a Chihuahua. Let's sum up this thrifty and punchy fuel-sipping Cruze. You'll like the refined power and great mileage from the turbo diesel engine, the easy-to-drive character, the high-tech infotainment system, and maybe especially the ride quality on nasty roads. This is a well-done small car all around, and with the diesel engine and incentive pricing, the value equation is strong. You may dislike the dated interior, the rear seats are adequate but not the biggest you'll find in this segment, and if you want a manual transmission, you won't get one here. Pricing for the nicely loaded tester with diesel power started around $25, with some options bumping that to about $28. But big incentives will slash that figure down, with a diesel engine slashing your fuel bill just as easily. Thanks for watching.